Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're tackling something that usually feels like this giant, overwhelming black box, search engine optimization. But honestly, we're going to break it down so it's super concrete and easy to grasp. We'll be using a simple house-building metaphor today, because at its absolute core, SEO is really just about making your content more visible to search engines like Google. And to pull that off, it all relies on four foundational pillars: keyword research, on-page SEO, technical SEO, and backlinks. So let's map out exactly how you can build your digital house to capture some truly massive traffic.
Here is our agenda for today's explainer. First, unlocking massive organic growth. Second, finding your winning keywords. Third, perfecting your on-page SEO. Fourth, building a technical foundation. Fifth, growing authority with backlinks. And finally, number 6, your SEO blueprint for 2025.
All right, let's dive right into section 1, unlocking massive organic growth. And honestly, the proof is right here in the data.
300%. Just let that number sink in for a second. This isn't some pie-in-the-sky theoretical projection. This is the actual organic traffic growth a real fashion retailer pulled off in a recent case study by SEO expert Saddam Adel. I mean, imagine your current website traffic and now multiply it by 3. That is exactly the power of the blueprint we're going over today.
So how did they actually hit that 300%? Well, the breakdown is absolutely incredible. Their overall traffic surged 275%, jumping from 1,200 up to 4,500 visitors. But the really fascinating part is the underlying metrics that made it happen. They completely slashed their page load speed from a sluggish 6.2 seconds down to a lightning-fast 1.8 seconds. That's a 71% improvement. Because of that, their organic click-through rate more than doubled, going from 2.1% to 5.8%. Plus, they totally dominated search results by snagging 15 featured snippets, and they even saw a massive 240% spike in image search traffic. I mean, these are undeniable real-world wins.
Before we get too far ahead of ourselves, we need to agree on what SEO actually is. According to Google's very own Search Central Starter Guide, SEO is simply helping search engines understand your content and helping users find your site and decide if they want to visit. Basically, it's the ultimate cure for the heartbreak of having this beautifully designed website that's basically just a digital ghost town.
Moving right along to section 2, finding your winning keywords. This is the architectural blueprint.
Think about it. You wouldn't build a house without checking what the future owners actually want, right? Well, that is keyword research. As Shortlist.io points out, you really need a checklist mentality here. Don't just sit there and guess. You've got to understand your audience's challenges, research your competitors, and stay right on top of the latest trends. A huge takeaway here is to aggressively look for long-tail keywords. These are longer, much more specific phrases, and they are an absolute goldmine for low-competition, highly targeted traffic. Oh, and if you're a local business, localized search keywords are absolutely vital. But here is the golden rule, literally the most important thing about keyword research. User intent is fundamentally greater than search volume. I know it's incredibly tempting to target a keyword just because, say, 10,000 people search for it every month. But if your webpage doesn't solve the specific problem, the actual why behind what those people are typing, they are going to bounce immediately. And believe me, Google tracks that bounce. The psychology of search dictates that meeting the user's true expectation is always going to be way more valuable than just chasing raw traffic numbers.
All right, on to section 3, perfecting your on-page SEO, the interior design.
So if keywords are your blueprint, on-page SEO is your interior design. It's how you make the house functional and appealing once visitors actually step inside. Google uses an automated system to judge this, and it's based on an acronym called EEAT. That stands for experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. When you're writing a blog post or an about page, Google's algorithms are essentially hunting for human signals to prove you actually know what you're talking about. They're asking, does this author have real-world experience? Are they a recognized expert? Is this site a trusted authority in this specific niche?
Which leads us perfectly into a really critical distinction: search engine-first content versus people-first content. Google's documentation explicitly states that SEO should only be applied to people-first content. If you're out there just stuffing keywords into some robotic-sounding article trying to trick the algorithm, you are creating search engine-first content. And honestly, you will eventually be penalized for it. You absolutely must design for human readers first, providing deep, real value, and then, only then, apply SEO best practices so search engines can categorize it.
The experts over at Digidot break down this on-page optimization into a really brilliant, simple 4-step process. Step 1, you have your keywords. Step 2, you have your actual content, which obviously needs to be top tier and relevant. Step 3 is tagging, which is how you structure your data. And step 4 is performance, just making sure the page actually loads smoothly. These 4 elements don't work in isolation. They work together simultaneously to capture the attention of both the human reading the page and the search engine crawling it.
Let's actually zoom in on step 3 of that process for a second, tagging. Semantic tagging is exactly how you organize and prioritize your content. Think of it like outlining a college essay. You need one main title, known as an H1 tag, for your central topic. Then you use H2s and H3s for all your subheadings. You've also got to keep your SEO title tags under 60 characters so they don't get cut off in Google results, and keep your meta descriptions under 160 characters. Basically, these tags act as big, clear signposts for search engine bots.
Section 4 already. Building a technical foundation. The plumbing and wiring.
So behind your beautifully painted digital walls is the plumbing and the wiring. It's totally hidden, but if it's broken, the whole house is basically uninhabitable. All that beautiful content won't do a thing without this foundation. This ultimate SEO audit checklist turns a bunch of heavy technical jargon into really clear, actionable targets. Google looks at things called core web vitals to judge your site's health. For example, you want your first input delay, which is how fast the site reacts when someone clicks, under 100 milliseconds. Your cumulative layout shift, which measures if the page visually jumps around while loading, needs to be under 0.1. Plus, you absolutely have to confirm your site has a responsive mobile design because Google indexes mobile first now, period. And definitely use modern compressed image formats like WebP or AVIF to keep things speedy.
To bring this all full circle, do you remember our fashion retailer from the beginning? Their massive 300% growth was unlocked in large part because they improved their page load speed to 1.8 seconds. Technical SEO isn't just a boring box to check. It is a strict, non-negotiable prerequisite for getting high rankings and delivering a great user experience.
Okay, Section 5. Growing authority with backlinks. The neighborhood reputation. Now it's time to step outside the house. Backlinks are your neighborhood reputation. It's getting other reputable sites to basically vouch for yours. It's digital word of mouth. But listen, you have to focus on quality over quantity. In our fashion case study, getting high authority links from respected fashion magazines provided massive value. But getting 100 spammy links from totally unrelated sites, that could actually be toxic and tank their ranking. And as the folks at Yoast point out, you can distribute this link equity around your own digital neighborhood through smart internal linking. Usually, your homepage has the most authority. So by creating smart internal links from your homepage to your newer articles, you literally pass that authority directly where it's needed most.
Finally, we've made it to Section 6, your SEO blueprint for 2025. Let's look at the lessons learned.
Look, if you take only one single thing away from this explainer today, let it be this quote derived directly from our 300% growth case study. User intent matters most. Understanding the why behind searches is more important than volume alone. Depth always wins. Comprehensive, thoughtful content that genuinely serves the real human on the other side of the screen is always going to outperform a superficial keyword-stuffed article.
Which leaves us with this final, rather crucial question to really challenge your current digital strategy. Is your website built strictly for search engines, or is it beautifully designed for people? Start with the people. Build a rock-solid technical foundation, design content that answers their deepest questions, structure it clearly, and I promise you the search engines will inevitably reward you. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and good luck building your digital house.